What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into something new. We are jumping into Black Panther Legends, issue number 1 of 4. Now, this story, it's ideal for new fans and loyal readers alike. Marvel Legends is revisiting and exploring the key moments that make Black Panther. This story, we really learn where T'Challa came from, how he grew up, how he learned the lessons that he learned, the fundamental building blocks that made him the man to become Black Panther. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this, we're picking up in the fields of Wakanda. And we have T'Challa and his adopted brother Hunter. And right now they are making their way through the fields, they are running, they are racing, going as fast as they possibly can. And all this is two boys out having fun, having some brotherly competition, trying to see which one of them is the fastest. With T'Challa getting blocked off by an animal, we see Hunter leap over, and he is the one to make it to the finish line. As they stand over this cliff's edge, they look down and they see the beautiful, wonderful city of Wakanda. Now, up in the palace, we have T'Challa's parents, and right now they are currently having a conversation because T'Challa wants to open up to the world. He wants to start reaching out to governments, trying to help neighboring African countries, to help the world as a whole though, to be able to give their kids an opportunity to introduce themselves, to intertwine and interact with the outside world, to no longer stay hidden and help those that need it out there. But Ramonda is very hesitant to go about this entire plan because she does understand the danger. She's very cynical to this plan because she understands the nature of man. She understands that outside of these borders, they have waged war on each other for generations and generations. That they lie, they steal, they cheat, they plan coups, they do all of this unhonorable acts. And to try to mix Wakanda with that, she believes a huge mistake. But with the two of them getting interrupted, T'Challa and Hunter, along with T'Chaka, all go for a walk. And really, he's just talking about what is about to change. How the world is about to change for them. Wakanda is not going to be all there is. And because of that, he wants them to go out and experience what the world is truly like. So you have an understanding of the individuals that you will one day be dealing with. Because T'Challa, the birthright of the Black Panther, it is belonging to him. And so the sooner he learns the lessons of what the outside world is truly like, it will help him, it will direct him and guide him in being the Black Panther of the future. And that's what takes us to Johannesburg, South Africa. And as soon as they arrive here, they quickly learn that things are vastly different. Immediately landing in the airport, there is segregation, with Hunter having to go in one line and the rest of the Wakandans having to go in the other. They are quickly learning that there is segregation between white and black people, something both T'Challa and Hunter have never actually experienced before. Out on the streets of Johannesburg, T'Challa quickly learns about this racial diversity, with a bunch of kids chasing down another one, saying that he needs to stay out of this side of town. Not really saying explicitly what the reason is, but we can only assume that it's due to racial diversity. And in Johannesburg, South Africa, it's definitely a very serious problem. Now, of course, T'Challa, he jumps into the fray, jumping in immediately trying to help this individual. But T'Challa, he gets beat up a little bit. Beat up so much that his bracelet falls off of his wrist. But lucky for him, his brother was close by. With Hunter also coming in, we see the two of them scare all of these guys off. And not long after, the police start making their way over, so the two of them, they go sprinting off and they try to find cover, to try to get away and not get caught. Now, of course, T'Chaka and his mother, they're extremely disappointed in them. This is their first visit ever outside of Wakanda, and this is what they get into. This is the fight that they jump into. Though T'Challa and Hunter, they both believe that they were doing it for the right reasons. And T'Challa believing that if one day he is going to pick up the mantle of Black Panther, that he should most definitely be standing up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. And if he doesn't live those principles now, what is the point of him ever becoming Black Panther? What is the point of him ever leading Wakanda? Now that's when we pick up a few days later. And right now we have a whole plane load of what appear to be politicians and national delegates from the UN coming to Wakanda for the first time. Crossing into Wakanda airspace, this is a huge historic moment. But back in the palace, this is where we pick up with T'Challa and Shuri. Little sister being extremely happy that her brother is home. These two, they sit down and have a conversation. They have a conversation of what they experienced while they were over there. Now, T'Challa's story, his is a little bit different, because as soon as he landed there, he immediately recognized the segregation, the racial disparity that was going on in this country. And you could say that this is hard for him to process, because up until this point, him and Hunter had never seen each other as white or black. They were simply brothers, with Hunter being adopted just as a baby because his parents had been murdered at their northern border. He grew up with T'Challa his entire life, and so they never saw any kind of color or anything of that nature. But the world on the outside tells them that there is a difference between them. Though T'Challa, Hunter, neither of them can see this difference. This has them understanding that there are unjust laws that exist. Unjust laws that have been in existence and ones that need to be eradicated. Now, the other hand, we have Hunter. Hunter is having such a hard time, not because of the segregation so much, though he does definitely find it odd that the laws in the world outside of here are so vastly different than how it is in Wakanda. But for a long time, he was envious, he was jealous of T'Challa. And that is because everyone praised him as the next Black Panther, the next ruler, the next son, the most loved. And he never understood why that was the case. But when they were facing across those bullies, when they were going one-on-one with them, Hunter jumped in to save T'Challa. He didn't jump in to save the individual that was getting beat up. And this is the day that Hunter realized T'Challa truly does deserve to be the protector, to be Black Panther. He deserves to be the most loved. Now, Ramonda, she goes on to tell Hunter that that's simply, while he will go on to be Black Panther, that it's going to take both of you to drive this new generation into the future, to make Wakanda the next step for all of the world. That only you two together can truly do this. And that you will never not be loved as long as you live in Wakanda. Now, this is when we pick up with T'Chaka meeting up with these UN delegates, sitting down, having a conversation. Now that there is talks about opening up to one another, being able to come visit, so on and so forth, Mr. Klaw, what he wants is to open up trade, the possibility of vibranium. Even going as far as saying that the UN, they have equipment that can help mine all of this. And then it will be evenly distributed across all of the worlds, using them as middlemen. Now, T'Chaka is not a dumb man, and he understands the ramifications of just letting vibranium out into the world. And after all of the wars that have been waged, whether due to vibranium or any other resource, seeing the poverty of third world nations, he doesn't believe that this is going to happen, especially looking around just the surroundings of Wakanda and seeing that economic disparity has not been dispersed. We have yet to bring up the very poorest of us all. And so for that reason, he has to refuse the vibranium, at least for the time being, until things can change. That he's still open to the idea. Now, Mr. Klaw, of course, he's very opposed to this, takes this as an insult, but we learn very quickly that these aren't UN delegates. These individuals, they hijacked the UN delegate plane, loaded it with his own personal bodyguards, and he came here in an attempt to take out T'Chaka and be able to get all of the vibranium that he wants for himself so he can sell on the black market. And so we see things go sideways very quickly, with Black Panther showing up, with T'Chaka putting that suit on, it completely taking over his body, he jumps into the fray. He jumps into the fight and starts taking down bad guys. Now, while all this is breaking out, we see T'Challa walk into the room. The young prince walking into the room, everybody immediately targets him. All blasters, all guns point to him, and Black Panther has to jump in the way of the blast. And with him taking the brunt of that blast, we see Black Panther down on the ground, with him appearing to be fatally wounded. T'Challa sits over his body, Hunter wounded off to the side, guards surrounding them. Alright gang, so with the last issue, we saw the death of T'Challa's father. With them doing their best to move forward, we pick up 3 years in the future, and T'Challa finds himself in the Serengeti. And for such a long time, he has found himself walking, learning, trying to see what his father saw when he made this journey. And as days turn to night, he does his hunting. He falls asleep in this cave as he is cooking some food, only to have some individuals come up and they steal this food from him. Awaking from his sleep, realizing that all of his stuff had been stolen, he goes chasing after them, and it doesn't take long for him to catch up with them. Seeing them fighting over the food over a fire, he lets them know that that belongs to him. But what T'Challa did not know is that there were some mercenaries following in close pursuit behind him, and they come up behind him with their guns drawn, letting him know that the wolf said that he is to be locked away. They are going to keep him as a prisoner. That is, until the nation of Wakanda pays them a handsome reward. And then, and only then, will T'Challa be cut loose. Now, of course, he is not going to say okay with this. He's not going to put handcuffs on. So he's going to make sure that they do this the hard way. And with him having a baton to one of their necks, before anybody could even throw a punch, this is where we see the wind start to pick up. These mercenaries, they find themselves floating in the air, and that is where we see the one and only Ororo. And with these mercenaries realizing that they are way over their head, that they are not getting paid enough to do this job, they hightail it out of here. And Storm tells all of the children to go ahead and give this kid his stuff back. Give the Prince of Wakanda all of his belongings. And picking up later that night, the two of them, they sit down and they talk about just a little bit of everything. They talk about Wakanda, they talk about where they come from, but she lets him know that she is an orphan like all of these children. They came together when they lost their homes in the Oromo conflict, which took place in Ethiopia. Their city was under siege. With her just happening to be passing by, she helped them escape. And so they bring her food and she protects them. But she also says that every neighboring African country has taken in refugees from the conflict, all except for Wakanda. Now, T'Challa tries to let us know that, it's just not part of their policy to help any of the neighboring countries, so on and so forth. It's so that they stay away from invasion and devastation. But at the end of the day, they're not helping anybody, and people are out there suffering. And so she simply cannot find any kind of middle ground with his plight. But nonetheless, these children, they offer for him to stay here, even though they do not have much, even though this is more of a rundown hut than anything else. They offer it to him with open arms. And so realizing that he can spruce this place up a little bit, we pick up the next day and he starts chopping wood. With all of the kids helping him out, they start building this place better. Picking up 3 weeks later, he starts working on the well, getting them fresh water so that they could have something to drink more easily. And what we see is in just 3 weeks, their well was fixed. They built clean living quarters for the kids and cleared out all the rubble. They are already calling him Big Brother. And imagine what he could do in 3 months. But what we are really seeing form here is the relationship between T'Challa and Ororo, which will bring us to 1 month later. T'Challa telling her how they will take the kids hunting tomorrow and they will catch something big for all of them. But she lets him know that tomorrow she will be leaving this place because these children, this place, It simply is not her family. She has no family. What she does have is powers that she just doesn't understand yet. And so she needs to learn how to properly wield these abilities. And to do that, she needs to go back to her ancestral home, which is Kenya. And she can't let anybody stop her journey, not even T'Challa. Now, T'Challa, he goes inside so they can really just have a minute to think about everything that she just said. But when he goes inside, this is when he sees Shuri. Talking to him through his bracelet, we see a hologram projection of her show up, letting T'Challa know that he needs to come home and he needs to do it quickly because something is going on with his brother Hunter. With Hunter in charge of the special forces to maintain the peace after father's passing, Hunter has just gone too far out of control. He's using these forces to cause unrest in the countries surrounding Wakanda. He thinks making other countries weaker will make them stronger. And with Hunter having spies absolutely everywhere, there is nothing that she can say. There is nothing she can do without starting an all-out civil war. Because as it stands, Wakanda, they still haven't recovered from losing T'Challa's father. And because of that, she doesn't think it is wise for her to say anything, believing that the Prince of Wakanda can come and save the day. And she warns him of one more thing, saying that he needs to be careful because Hunter, he is now calling himself the White Wolf. And he is using local mercenary groups from other countries to track him down. Now, we have already seen these mercenaries. They already talked about the wolf. And so with Shuri going, we see Aurora walk into the room and she sees Shuri on this bracelet, a hologram projection, only making her believe that all of the rumors, the myths, the flying cars, all of those ideas, they must be real, they must be true. But T'Challa lets her know that he has to go, that it is far too dangerous for him to stay here. And of course she gets mad about this, saying that he's acting like a typical Wakandan, abandoning other Africans to attend to his own matters. And he has to ask her that you are leaving as well. What makes what you and I are doing any different from one another? Because at the end of the day, we both have such great strength. We have to move forward. These children will learn the same lessons one day, but both of them have a duty, and he's starting to understand exactly what his father found when he went out on this journey. But that's exactly it. This is not the end of his journey. T'Challa was always going to have to move on, the same as Storm. But before she can take off, T'Challa grabs a spear and he hands it to her for her journey. Of course, she doesn't need a weapon like this, but this is more for her to remember him by. Something for him to come and collect at a later time. A way of saying that this will not be the last time I see you. And with them saying their goodbyes, T'Challa finds himself on the outskirts of Wakanda. And now the battle begins. Alright gang, so as we dive into this new origin story for Black Panther, we're picking up with a young Shuri, and right now she is just missing her brother, no one knowing where he is. And while she sits here in her solitude, we see the arrival of Hunter. Now Hunter comes in and really asks her like, why do you miss him? Why do you keep your mind on T'Challa all of the time? Because the truth of the matter is that he would have invited violence into our nation. The same violence that got their father killed. Saying that T'Challa would have doomed them all to the same fate. But this is where he gets interrupted by one of his guards, letting them know that they have some kind of tracking on T'Challa. While they remain and keep this a secret from Shuri, Hunter knows that he is coming back. And that is because today is the day of the tournament. Every 5 years, the reigning Black Panther is challenged for the throne. And anyone who can defeat their uncle in combat, they will become the next Black Panther. They will become the next ruler of Wakanda. And so Hunter has every intention of ensuring that T'Challa does not make it to that tournament. And we see a young T'Challa. He is making his way through the crowd, keeping his head hooded, ensuring that no one is able to get eyes on him. But before he heads off to the tournament, he has one stop to make. And that is to his sister. And really, they just have a quick conversation. She made a mask for him. He says he can't wear it. Then she starts teasing him about Storm, about how he wants to see his new girlfriend watch him win ruler of Wakanda, so on and so forth. But they get rudely interrupted, and that is with the arrival of Hunter. Hunter and his police force, they come in and let Shuri know that she is going to be late to the tournament, but he believed that he had heard something inside. Really, this is them just saying that they don't trust her. That if T'Challa is in fact in Wakanda, then she is going to be the very first suspect that they check out and see if he is hiding out there. With her using her technology to create a fake wall, Hunter and the rest of them are unable to see T'Challa standing right there in the room. And with everyone making their exit, we pick up at the tournament. And this is the very first tournament without T'Challa's father. And if anybody is feeling this the hardest, it is their uncle, because this was his brother. They lived together, they grew up together, they fought together, and they ruled together. And though he was the man that was supposed to be going in this tournament, he is going to do everything he can to honor his brother's memory. And so we have every tribe, they put forth their champions. The greatest warriors, but also the greatest leaders. Whoever defeats the other champions, they then get the opportunity to go against the ruler of Wakanda. And so in the grand arena, this is where the tournament begins. And it doesn't take long for our first champion to win her fight. And while the tournament is ongoing, this is where we see Hunter and his guards, they make their leave, with Shuri going in to find out what is going on. This is where she gets ambushed. All of the guards surround her asking where T'Challa is, saying that they know that they have been in contact, and they need to know, and they need to know right now. And it doesn't take long for T'Challa to drop in here and start laying down some haymakers. Telling his sister to run, he makes quick work of these guards. And with him kicking their butts, we pick up a short time later inside the arena. And at this point, the last fighters, they are coming to their end. And with the last warrior being defeated, this is where we see T'Challa jump onto the field. And so the two of them, they duel it out. But T'Challa is the one who comes out on top. With him getting the better of her, throwing her on her back, he helps her up to her feet. With his mask covered, everyone would like to know what tribe he is hailing from. Who is this stranger that challenges for ruler of Wakanda? And so, with Black Panther standing toe-to-toe with T'Challa not answering any of the questions, not even saying a single word, T'Challa swings at Black Panther and the fight is on. And as this fight begins, Black Panther quickly realizes that this is his nephew. He knows because he sat there and trained him how to fight, day in and day out. He knows exactly how he swings. He knows exactly when he's going to come in for his punches. And so because of this, we see Black Panther, he is getting the upper hand tremendously. And he is throwing T'Challa around this arena, telling him that he is too slow, that he is too loud, catching him every step of the way, and then it appears T'Challa gets him, catches him off guard, grabs his arm, and throws him down to the ground. And with that, he is victorious. With his uncle falling down to the ground and a face full of dirt, the crowd begins cheering T'Challa. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This one was definitely a quick comic, really just driving us through till he becomes the ruler of Wakanda. And what we see so far is that T'Challa, while he is a skilled fighter, there is no way that he could have beat his uncle there. The truth of the matter is it is more than likely his uncle allowed him to win, to give T'Challa the opportunity to be the ruler. Alright gang, so as we dive into this final issue, T'Challa has won the tournament. He has proven himself to be Wakanda's strongest warrior. The people are believing in him, but right now Hunter is the one individual letting him know that opening themselves up to the world, it is a mistake. That is exactly what got their father killed. But Hunter, unwilling to fight his brother, what he will do is leave. He will go hunt down the killer of their their father, bring him to justice once and for all. After they say their goodbyes and his brother leaves, this is where we see T'Challa's uncle coming in to just give him a little bit of counsel. As they go for a walk, they have a discussion on what to do next. T'Challa truly does want to follow his father's dream of opening Wakanda to the world, but all of his advisors, at least most of them, they're advising against doing this. Not sure if he is making the right decision, he goes to his uncle for counsel and tries to figure out what he should be doing. Now, his uncle doesn't tell him to do it or not to do it. He simply tells him to believe in what he truly thinks is best, to go with your gut feeling. If you believe this country would be better opened up to everybody else, then do that. Getting interrupted by Shuri, there is a brand new suit that is waiting for him. While it looks exactly like the one he is wearing, this suit has been upgraded. This is a gift from Reed Richards. This is the suit that absorbs kinetic energy. As he tries on this new suit, they get an alert that there is unidentified Wakandan ship making its entry over the airspace. T'Challa not skipping a freaking beat. As this airship is not hailing to any responses, they are getting ready to shoot it down out of the sky. As things go from 0 to 100 very quickly, we see the Fantastic Four, they jump out of this airship and they are ready to lay down some hate, with the Thing going in on Black Panther, trying to do some clobbering time. Hitting Black Panther, he is able to absorb all of that kinetic energy, sending out a blast wave of energy. We see the Thing taken down to the ground. Shuri coming in and stopping this before it gets any more serious, trying to let T'Challa know that this is the Fantastic Four. This is Reed Richards. This is the guy that gifted you that suit that you are now wearing. With this unfortunate mistake now out of the way, they all go sit down, they start having a discussion. Reed Richards and Shuri just picking at each other's brains, trying to figure out all of the real applications for vibranium, letting T'Challa know that they're not here to recruit him for the Avengers or anything like that. They're not here for vibranium either. They're here to just have a discussion with the man, with T'Challa himself, letting him know that outside the walls of Wakanda, there are some times where they might need his assistance, and they could help him vice versa. That there could be a very mutually beneficial partnership if Wakanda and T'Challa are willing to do so. Being very rudely interrupted, and that is because there is a giant gorilla beast outside destroying parts of the city. As they go in to take down this beast, they are getting reports that someone is going after the vibranium. The Fantastic Four letting T'Challa know that they will handle this monstrosity, that the Fantastic Four is going to take care of everything. You can go take care of the vibranium. This is where we see Ulysses. He is the one that is orchestrating all of this. As the Red Panthers come out and begin to attack them, as the Klaw goes to send an energy blast directly at Black Panther. What he doesn't know is that this is a new suit and Black Panther has leveled up, absorbing the entirety of this blast. He is able to take in all of this energy, and with one good kick, we see the Klaw taken down, knocked into what appears to be a secret laboratory they never knew anything about. From that laboratory, we see nothing but flames. Believing this to be the end of Ulysses, back in the city with the Fantastic Four, all of these beasts, they start disappearing. Believing that Klaw is now gone forever, he goes to the Fantastic Four and he thanks them for their assistance. This is the beginning of a brand new, fantastic partnership. And as a gift for all of their efforts, he gives them a great good handful of vibranium. Taking us a little bit later, we have Black Panther and Hunter meeting up. Black Panther has been trying to get his brother's forgiveness for quite some time. He is hoping that his brother is going to understand he is just fulfilling their father's wishes. With their father's killer now believed to be dead, these two brothers might be able to find a way to reconnect. What they don't know is back in Wakanda, we see a fist coming up through the dirt. And that is where this series will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. While there are some relatively small changes, this is a great revisit into the lore of Black Panther, into Hunter, him opening up everything, us learning the Fantastic Four was really one of the first individuals to come to Wakanda. Not only that, they helped design Black Panther's now current suit that is able to absorb kinetic energy, so on and so forth. It's really just a great, fun retelling of stories we really relatively know up to this point. Adding some small details here and there, filling in the gaps, giving us more backstory to the amazing world of Wakanda, Black Panther, T'Challa, and everything that goes along with it. With it being only 4 issues, it was relatively nicely paced. The writing was a lot of fun, the artwork was pretty awesome. All in all, I don't have many complaints when it comes to this story. And while usually I'm wanting more from a story, we have the other Black Panther line that is currently ongoing. So the fact that this one is ending is not really disappointing. It told its story, it got what it needed to tell out. And if you want more Black Panther, you can go over to the other series where it's picking up in current time and everything that T'Challa is dealing with. But let me know what you think, let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by hitting the super thanks button. This button will let you donate directly to the channel and every little bit helps us out. Now if you can't do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, make sure you hit that notification bell, and until the next breakdown.